What's up, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this, I want to break down what's happening with NIO, Tesla, SPY, and the broader markets. I'm also going to break down why NIO saw a bit of a sell-off today as we got some new news involving China. What's happening so far to the share price. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I'm saying as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link that's down below, or use this QR code right here to sign up. If you sign up for Moomoo and deposit $100, you're going to get $20 of free NVIDIA stock. If you deposit $2,000 or more, you're going to get $50 worth of NVIDIA plus a $100 cash reward. Deposits $10,000 or more to get $300 worth of NVIDIA plus $100, or deposits $50,000 or more to get $1,000 of free NVIDIA plus $100. You're also going to qualify for an 8.1% APY on invested cash. The offer ends very soon, so please use my link down below. Anyways, as far as NIO is going, as you guys can tell, we're making lower highs at least so far. If we get back above 7.15, we're looking for a bigger bounce. If not, we're going to likely continue to favor a move to 6.45. So with these rejections that keep on coming, we are once again favoring 6.45 or below for NIO and even more downside. I also want to add that the reason why NIO saw some downside involves the Chinese market right now. We're seeing some new news coming out that China said that the new port fees are meant to protect its shipping industry, but they're going to be once again applied to US owned, operated, built, or flagged vessels. And once again, these changes came after what we had seen previously. So that's some important news that's come out, at least thus far. And with these tensions continuing to rise, this is having an effect on the markets. Despite that, Mizuho still has a neutral rating for NIO, but the price-price ratio is dropping, which shows that NIO is losing some strength. Also, historically, we tend to be green about only 55% of the time on Wednesdays, so we'll see if we get some kind of rebound or not. The ET5 is also getting attention, which is quite decent news. And we had some news from Jerome Powell that caused some volatility. He has been seeing a risk of more labor market weakness, but he is saying once again that as far as all of this is going, he's not necessarily kind of like phased right now. He said we have to wait and see what happens with the next labor market reports. And the Fed is still open to more cuts because of this, but they're going to be very unbiased. We also had other Federal Reserve Bank presidents saying the same thing, such as like Susan Collins. But once again, there is a risk of more potential cuts, and the market did like that news. The market kind of like dipped and it bounced, with Jerome Powell then started to dip again, but NIO is showing some more weakness because of the news involving China. I also want to add that President Trump and his administration are seeking to cool tensions between the US and China after we saw the export controls being imposed. And the U.S. Trade Representative, Jamieson Greer, said it's up to China whether additional 100% tariffs are going to kick in on November 1st. They're waiting to see what kind of reaction we get. And so far, China have said that they want to retaliate, and they're going to once again beginning charging additional port fees. So that is once again the news that's come out, and that's why we're seeing at least some fear. President Trump also said that once again he still accused them of being hostile again. He accused China of that, and there's still a lot of tensions right now. I think that's not the best of news, at least thus far. For earnings, we had big bank earnings. Everything was quite decent, but it wasn't really enough to get the market to hold up or bounce much. We have ASML earnings and Progressive announcing earnings alongside Bank of America and Morgan Stanley for tomorrow. So keep that in mind. That could be very, very important. And then for Wednesday, we basically have a bunch of Fed speakers, not really much else. So what do I see for NIO? Honestly, guys, we're technically on a bit of a downtrend because we keep on making lower highs and lower lows. Now, if we get back above 7.15, we're looking for some kind of bounce, which we can't reclaim that. I do expect us to kind of bounce a bit tomorrow and consolidate, and then we could be slowly dipping for 6.45 again. That is the most likely possibility. This also resembles a head and shoulders on NIO, and then we do have a gap to fill all the way down towards 6.25, which is still favoring downside. SPY, on the other hand, is just range bound, so when we touch 665, we like to basically reject. If we could break 665, we could be looking for a bigger move right back up. But as we dip to 652, we like to bounce. So we're basically doing this. We dip to 652, bounce to 665, back to 652, back to 665 like this. We're going to likely continue to trade sideways until we break one of these directions. So for now, we're just range bound. We could see a dip in case we reject. Same thing with the QQQ, we're range bound. As we hit 652, we like to bounce. Hit 603, we like to come get a rejection. Sorry, did I say 652? I meant 684. Excuse me, guys. So once we touch the support here, we like to bounce. Then we like to reject and bounce. Can we break past 597, then eventually 603 to break out higher? Or do we kind of push and reject back down? As of right now, there's that risk of us kind of like continuing to trade sideways. So keep that in mind. The Russell is favoring a test at 250 as it looks more bullish. ES is trading sideways and might continue to trade sideways between 66.60 and basically 6,700, and we'll see if we break out higher later on. NQ is also trading sideways. We have basically 25,000 as our resistance and 24,600 as our support. We're also going back and forth here, so we're going to see if this pops and dips back down. For Bitcoin, we're technically trying to bounce here. If we break 114,000, we're looking for an attempt for 115,000. For Tesla, we're trying to rebound, but it depends on if we can hold above this resistance. If we break past 430, we're looking for an attempt for 435 again. Is this going to be a slanted inverse head and shoulders, or are we about to get some kind of rejection? We just have to wait and see. But there is some upside potential for 435 again. Nvidia is making lower highs. We're going to see if we end up losing 177 or not. If we break past 182, we're looking for a bigger bounce. Otherwise, we're favoring 177 as our potential support. Apple's kind of trading sideways. If we end up losing 244, we're looking for a bigger dip back down. But if we break 250, we're bullish. We're favoring 244 below, at least for now. AMD is on a downtrend. We have a slight head and shoulders like pattern. Will we dip back down to 201 or do we get some kind of bounce? You want to be very, very careful nonetheless. We could see a retest of 215 and we'll see how it goes from there. Coinbase has support at 337. We'll see if we bounce or not, but I do see a test of that coming. Amazon's on a bit of a downtrend. We could be retesting 218. We'll see if we reject or not, but there might be a small bounce. Meta is on a bit of a downtrend. We have resistance at 715 and support down here at 700. We're stuck in the middle, so be very, very careful. Google's looking a bit more bullish, favoring 248 to 250. And then Microsoft is going to be favoring a test of 516, so some tech stocks may try to bounce. Also, know the VIX is just stuck between these two white lines. As we hit 22, we like to reject. But around the low, very high 18s, we like to bounce essentially. So we're just going back and forth between near 19 and 22. Until one of these levels break, we just remain range bound until we see which way this goes. So be very patient in the market like this. SPY does look like it might want to retest 665 tomorrow, but then we'll see if you reject or not off this, depending on our news. And NIO is looking a little bit weaker than SPY in the markets because of the Chinese tensions. We're going to see if we bounce a bit for like 6.9 to $7, but then we could reject again and start dipping for like 6.6. So please be very careful. With that being said, I thank you all so much for listening. Unfortunately, NIO is on a bit of a downtrend because we also happen to have this larger head and shoulders. And if we do get a bigger move down, once again, it's nothing more than just like a buying opportunity. So this is another opportunity to load up on shares for cheap because once again, there's going to be a lot of upside coming once we get our earnings report and we get more updates when it comes to deliveries and such. All right. So with that being said, I want to thank you all so much for listening. I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your guys' days, nights, or evenings, wherever you guys are around the world. And I'll be back tomorrow to give you guys another update, but don't be surprised if we bounce a bit in the morning. Then we see a little bit more downside on NIO because we're still technically looking a bit more bearish. All right, so thank you for listening. Have a good one and peace out.